Recently, a lot of body positivity and like fat influencers have been receiving a ton of attention because a lot of them are just dying. Now, I feel like this topic has been slowly getting more and more attention over time, but I think one of the videos that really brought it to the foreground was this one right here.
Just because I'm fat, that doesn't invalidate the things that I say.
She died.
You ready to get supersized?
She died too.
Today I've got the big Fruit Loop.
He's dead.
So from that little first piece of that video, you can see that she's just pretty much bringing up a ton of different body positivity, or fat body positivity creators, and just pointing out how they're all dying. But it seems like one creator in specific has been receiving a bit more attention than the others, and that's pretty much who we're mainly going to be talking about today. But right quick, before I do get into that, I did want to bring up the point that a lot of people and even content creators are just being super mean about this entire situation, and I honestly can't see why. I'll get into more of that later, but I did just want to bring it up right quick. But back to what I was saying earlier, one of the creators that have been seeing a ton of attention is known as Britney, and I think she was mainly on TikTok, but she's been getting a lot of attention because of the last video that she uploaded before she passed. Now, it is honestly a pretty sad video to see people talking about this stuff, especially before they passed away, but before I play the video, I wanted to read her description that she posted in the video as well. It says, "I wish I could turn back time and not have stopped when it got hard, not given up when grief hit me. This has to be the final time I pick myself up off the ground because I'm scared that I'm gonna end up in a very bad place that my body can't recover from." And after reading that, of course, we now know that her body did sadly end up in a place that she couldn't recover from. Also, one more thing before I do play the video, it is decently long and I was going to chop it up and like shorten it down a bit, but I feel like it is important to play majority of the video to, one, get most of the context and also try to get as much of the original point that she was trying to push across. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play the video now.
I ruined my life with food, binge eating, and lack of self-care. And I'm hoping that it's not too late for me this time. I ain't been to the store in 2 years, maybe more now, I guess. I went to the post office once and that was hard. I went to urgent care and I thought my legs were gonna give out from under me, because I had to stand there the entire time after walking in. I kept just looking back at the chair and just praying that I could just make it another second until she was done with me. I couldn't even probably go check the mail right now. Between, the growth I have in my fupa, so not my apron, but my pelvic region. It's about 30-40 pounds now. I go in January to see what it is, because apparently there has been a big misunderstanding where my doctor thought I was having issues with my apron, but no, it is the growth below that I have to physically move when I walk. Anytime I roll or move or anything, I have to adjust it. And I can't wear my leggings or shorts anymore. I'm out of breath constantly. And I wish I knew the cost of eating. I wish I knew the cost of the comfort at the time that I was seeking. And I just want this to be a warning to other people that just need to hear the hard truth, that if you, if you keep it up and you keep, gaining and not taking care of yourself and moving around and doing what you need to do, your health is going to decline. Possibly, this is my experience, but my health declined. I do what I need to do, to take care of my husband and stuff still, and I make things work, and I can do the things that I need to do, but they're very, very hard. I had to have help trimming my toenails the other day because I felt so out of breath trying to lean over and do my toes. There's just a lot that is taken away from me, and I want you to know that it's not worth it. Food's not worth your life. And I really hope that I can turn it around this time, because it's really scary how bad things can get.
Now, like you've seen from the video, it's pretty much just her explaining how her life is being that big, all the trouble she goes through daily, and how hard it is to just do basic things. Most importantly, though, she talks about how she honestly regretted everything and wish she pretty much did everything different. I feel like this is the most important part of the video because at the end, she also is pretty much telling everybody that it's not worth it at all. Her message in this video pretty much seems like the same message that every other fat body positivity creator is giving off. It seems like most, if not all of them, once they're reaching a point where they're suffering like major health consequences or like nearing death, it seems like they all have the same sentiment of it's not worth it at all, this life has pretty much been horrible and they wouldn't recommend it to anybody. And kind of going back to the point I was making earlier, like sure, a ton of people are being like super supportive and nice about this whole situation, but there's a lot of them that are also just being complete assholes about it. And I personally find that to just be a super crappy thing to do, especially after watching these videos, because in a lot of these cases, it seems like the reason that they're so big isn't necessarily even 100% their fault. It's a ton of reasons that goes into it, and you can't really just chalk all the blame up to them. Using this creator Britney as an example, in her video before her last one, she was talking about how her like health progress journey has been going. She pretty much says it's going terrible and she's made almost no improvements because honestly, once you get to that point, it becomes like a downward spiral because it's easier to get worse rather than getting better. She also brings up the point that her mother also passed away recently, and it's just a ton of other things going on in her life that pretty much just makes it harder. And like I said, I'm just using her as an example because this is the topic that we just talked about, but like I said, I feel like in a lot of these cases, it's not even fully these people's fault. It's either a ton of other stuff going on in their life, or it's just people around them enabling them. I feel like this is way worse with social media as well because you can never really get what you're looking for out of social media. A lot of these people are tricked into thinking, oh, since like social media and all these public figures are saying, oh yeah, it's okay to be big, oh yeah, you slay, you're a big queen, a lot of these people are thinking that it's okay and, you know, more acceptable to be that big when it's not. And in most cases, it sadly does end this way where they either end up dying or their health gets to a point where they can't recover. Also, like I was saying earlier, where it pretty much just becomes a downward spiral, a lot of these people don't even want to be this big, and they just aren't necessarily getting the help that they need, because once you get into stuff like binge eating and everything else, from what I've read, it can be super hard to get out of a cycle like that, because they usually end up super stressed out, and binge eating becomes a way to like relieve the stress for them. So I feel like just being an asshole about this situation isn't really going to help anything. What people do need to start doing though is being more honest, especially even the people in the comment sections. I feel like I've noticed this a lot more in like women's comment sections rather than men's, but they're not honest at all. If it's someone like super big, like I said, they'll start saying stuff like, oh yeah, slay, you go queen. They need to just be more honest and willing to help. Like, I'm obviously not saying you have to go to their comment section and like start making fun of them, calling them like big girl or big boy or whatever, start calling them butterball, double wide or whatever. Obviously you're not going to want to do that, but you definitely shouldn't go to the comment section pretty much just enabling them. Like I said, saying the stupid stuff like, yeah, you slay, go queen, yeah, big queen. And that also kind of transitions into my next point of, if you are someone that's like influenced by these like fat body positivity people, this whole situation pretty much reinforced my thought process on no one wants to truly actually be fat. Like, no matter what you see all these different creators saying about being big, I don't think anyone truly actually wants to be big, especially to the point where it's inhibiting their daily life activities. So even if these people are just trying to fool you to get your money and say it's okay to be big, do not believe them. And as sad as this situation is, I feel like there can be some good that comes out of almost every situation, and I feel like the good that comes out of this is I think a lot of people are going to start using these videos to kind of wake up and realize that a lot of these different influencers and stuff are pretty much putting on a face, and they don't necessarily have your best interest in mind, nor are they always telling the truth. Now, I have nothing against like body positivity in general, obviously, for like what it's meant to be used for, but after this whole situation, I hope this like fat positivity stuff starts seeing a bit more pushback. And I hope a lot more people start realizing that being fat isn't just some sort of appearance thing. It genuinely heavily influences your overall health. It's just a lot of these like crummy advertisers and social medias and stuff that leads a lot of these like vulnerable people to believe that, oh yeah, being big, that's just how you look. It's nothing else. Don't worry if you're plus sized. One of the last points that I wanted to bring up as well is if you are someone that's looking to like better yourself and like improve your body, there are a ton of people that are willing to help. Even if you don't have anyone directly around you to help, as much as I dislike and talk crap about social media, there are a ton of people on there that are willing to help you with stuff like that. Like if you start uploading your fitness goals pretty much on any social media platform except for maybe Twitter. I don't use Twitter that much. I wouldn't recommend doing anything on Twitter, but somewhere like even TikTok or especially like Reddit, people are willing to help you. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you did make it this far, if you seen the buttons light up when I said that, make sure you leave that in the comments. I'm not gonna hold y'all for too long though. I'll catch y'all in the next one.